The purpose of music is this, that what you can do all over the world, you can sit here and do simply by uttering the right sounds in the right way. Every experience that a human being can have, you can sit here and have simply uttering the right kind of sounds.
Welcome everybody to the 1500 Sound Academy. So today we have Sadhguru, who is a mystic, yogi. Welcome, Sadhguru.
Amazing conversation. This is such an amazing place.
If you make music where here and there you hit a point of some sense of perfection of geometry, now that sound elevates human beings without knowing why, makes people go beyond themselves, beyond their own thoughts, beyond their emotions, beyond their likes and dislikes, beyond whatever they think they are, because at some point the music hit points of perfection of geometry. If the geometric coherence hits a certain sweet spot, then it becomes transcendent in experience.
Welcome everybody to the 1500 Sound Academy, founded by James Fauntleroy and Rance Dobson. It's a pleasure to have you here today for a discourse on the power of sound. So I'm just feeling the room right now, and it has a vibration. You may not be able to hear it because what we consider audible sound is just a thin slice of vibrations. If it vibrates at a higher frequency, then maybe we could see it. But there are ways to perceive vibrations at any frequency, provided you have the proper training and go through certain experience. So today we have Sadhguru, who is a mystic, yogi, two-time New York Times bestseller, here to provide us, right? Come on, give him snaps. That's a vibe, that's a sound. So broaden your horizons in a cerebral capacity, open up your spirits, and welcome Sadhguru.
Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam, Iha Samsare, Bahudastare, Iha samsare bahudastare, kripaya pare pahi murare, kripaya pare pahi murare.
Hello, everyone.
Namaste.
Good evening. That's a good evening. Wow. The power of sound. It's been said in many different ways. It seems, I'm not an expert on this, it seems the Bible starts off with, first there was a word. Word is a human interpretation of a sound. This happened to me very early on. When I was just about 4.5 years of age, suddenly I realized I don't know anything. Don't know anything means don't know anything at all. To a point, if you give me a glass of water, I keep staring at the water because I don't know what is water. Well, I know I can drink it, I know how I can use it in so many different ways. But you don't know what it is. Even today you don't know what it is. With all the scientific exploration we have done, we still do not know one atom in its entirety. We know how to use it, fuse it, break it, make a bomb out of it, everything, but we don't know what it is. So if I find a piece of leaf, I'm just staring at it for hours. I'm always staring at something because I haven't figured it out. So if I start staring at something for hours and then I'm staring, my dear father, being a physician, started thinking I need psychiatric evaluation. This boy is simply staring at something all the time, looks like he's lost it. In this condition, they sent me to school. And my mother said, you must pay attention to the teachers, don't look here and there. No, I went and paid attention to the teachers, the kind of attention that they had never received in their life. Absolute attention to them. Initially I sort of understood what they were trying to say. After some time, I realized they're just making sounds. Hour after hour, different teacher after teacher comes and makes sounds, makes sounds and makes sounds. We are making up meanings in our heads. See, even now, because language is a conspiracy between two people. In this country probably, maybe some of you now know Spanish or something else, otherwise generally you can't do this conspiracy. In India, if we want to say something that nobody wants to know, we speak in a different language because everybody knows. We have 1300 languages, we have lots of conspiracy going. So, language is just an understanding between two people. Right now I make these sounds, you're making up the meanings in your head. Suppose I start speaking one of the Indian languages, it'll be just sounds, isn't it? So sound is existential. Word or meaning. Word, something becomes a word because you attach a meaning to the sound. So word is psychological. What is psychological? If you misunderstand as existential, then you will go into a whole hallucinatory process of life. From this point it starts, different levels of imagination, different levels of psychological activity is misunderstood as life, and a human being goes astray in many different ways. Just your thoughts and emotions. It's your psychological drama, maybe badly directed, but you start thinking it's for real. You could direct it any way you want, if only you understand that thought is also just a sound. You are attaching meanings to it. So, if nobody knew English language, only I'm speaking this language, I'm just making sounds, meaningless sounds, isn't it? So, first there was a word. Maybe in ancient languages, when it's translated to English, this has happened. Essentially they're saying first there was sound. But what is the basis of sound? If there was no silence here, would you know what is sound? So silence is the emptiness of the existence. Upon it, if you create a reverberation, it becomes a sound. So what you call a sound on one level is just a vibration or a reverberation. For this reverb to happen, you need an empty space where there is nothing, no sound. We call this nishabd. This means there is a state that is beyond sound. So one important thing in India, if you want to become a musician, if you want to become a yogi, if you want to become anything, first thing is you're going to profound states of silence. Not school teacher silence, shh, hold it down, hold your mouth and don't say a thing, nothing like that. You just become silent, nothing. When you become silent, if you listen to the sound, you will know the form of the sound. When I say you will know the form of the sound, if you feed any sound into an oscilloscope, depending upon its frequency, amplitude and other aspects of the sound, it will give you a certain form. So every sound has a form attached to it. Similarly, every form has a sound attached to it. So this whole science of being able to see the sound and the geometry of the sound and being able to grasp it and use it the way you want is called the science of mantra. Mantra means a geometrically perfect sound. If you arrange these sounds with a certain sense of aesthetic, it becomes music. If you make music where here and there you hit a point of some sense of perfection of geometry, now that sound elevates human beings without knowing why, makes people go beyond themselves, beyond their own thoughts, beyond their emotions, beyond their likes and dislikes, beyond whatever they think they are, because at some point the music hit points of perfection of geometry. There is a geometric system for everything that is physical. Everything that's physical exists because of some sense of geometric coherence. If there is no geometric coherence, it won't stand. Physical things like this, suppose you make the walls like this, it's not going to stand. It needs to be in a certain way, geometrically aligned. Similarly with the sounds, they must have a geometric coherence. Then if the geometric coherence hits a certain sweet spot, then it becomes transcendent in experience. Otherwise, it may be aesthetically correct or sometimes it may be torturous, you know. So, sound as a process is existentially real. What you call as physical, everything that's physical has a sound manifestation to it, a reverberation. So when you are able to see this relationship between a form and a sound, such a state of perception, these words don't mean anything to you, they're just sounds, okay? It's called Ritambara Pragna. That means you are able to perceive the relationship between a form and a sound. This is very important for a yogi because the yogi does not believe anything that he sees. Seeing is not believing for him because your eyes are very deceiving. What you think is light, some other creature thinks it's darkness, isn't it? Between you and an owl, if you sit together and start an argument, which is light, which is darkness, where do you think it'll go? Endless argument, isn't it? Who do you think is right, you or the owl? Oh. Both? If you're saying both, either you're in the diplomatic corps or you're having a successful marriage. You have learned to say both to everything. Both can't be true, isn't it? Maybe both are wrong, maybe one is true, another is wrong. Both cannot be true. It is just that nature has opened up his sense perception as it is necessary for his survival. Nature has opened up your sense perception as it is necessary for your survival. If survival is all you're seeking, sense organs, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting is good enough. But if you're wanting to know life, know the mechanics of life, how it is, how it functions, what it does, and you want to delve deep into the crevices of life, then you're seeing, hearing not reliable because it shows you what is needed for your survival. It doesn't show you anything else. So you move into this arena where you go by your sound perception. This is why in yoga, a serpent, especially a cobra, is highly valued. You will see always images of yogi with cobras next to them because A serpent is stone deaf, a cobra is stone deaf, but it has its entire body to the earth. And in southern India, these studies have been made. In southern India, a cobra which is in South India, if there is going to be, not yet, if there is going to be an earthquake in California, almost 48 hours ahead he knows, he starts moving in funny ways. He knows, because he's really ear to the ground, So when I was 6, 7, 8 years of age, I went into the jungles and I saw these cobras and they were always familiar to me. I want to learn something and I lie around putting my belly and chest on the ground, trying to feel this, feel that. Well, nothing happened because that is not the way a human being is going to get it. That is how a cobra gets it. For a human being, you have to get it means you have to quieten the noise. This mental diarrhea that you're having right now. Hello? Hello? You're having runs, isn't it? So this mental diarrhea has to go. If you simply sit here totally still, then you know the relationship between form and sound. In this, if you master the sound, you have mastery over the form also. This is the science of mantra. But we're talking about music. Now we want to arrange something in an aesthetically nice way so that it touches people. But today, largely music has become more about the lyric. Well, lyric is okay, it's like I'm talking to you, the words and the meanings. If I say sweet things to you, you may feel good for some time. But every day if I say sweet things to you, you'll get fed up with me. Has it not happened to you? Already they did it to you? Your mothers try to do it, you escaped and then you find somebody else, they also try to do it. Constantly saying sweet things. Because it doesn't work. When it's new, it works after some time. Just saying nice things to each other is not going to work. It is important how life gels, what kind of reverb do you create, how things fall together, how forms and sounds are connected. Is if I make exactly the same sound as this form, now this and me will get connected. There's a deep connection with this, whether it's to human beings or things or whatever. And you can form a kind of resonance where this becomes a powerful experience. Simply sitting here uttering a sound which absolutely matches with something explosive begins to happen within you, which is unreasonable. It's not because of what was said in the words or in the lyric. So most of the Indian classical music is 60–70%, 60% at least, no words, they're just doing sounds. Not instrumental, voice, sounds. Here and there some words. So the music in the world today, all of you young people are moving more towards words. I think you must move little more towards the sound if you want your music to last. Otherwise, today what you're saying may be nice for the crowd who is sitting here, but tomorrow what you're saying may be totally meaningless because it's been said too often. Happening already in many ways. So, music means it's about sound, it's about geometry of sound, it is about aesthetics of sound, not just about saying nice things to each other. Well, that is also part of it. It's not that you can ignore words, human beings have this problem. I just thought I'd read a poem, human beings have this problem. This is a little poem called Of Meanings. Call it what you want, love, friendship, purpose or God. Call it what you want, love, friendship, purpose or God. You are scanning the invisible for an illusion that may assist your life to find meaning. You are scanning the invisible for an illusion that may assist your life to find meaning. In abandoning this search, shall you find the invisible. In abandoning this in abandoning this search, you shall find the invisible present sans meaning. To ride this great phenomena of creation without contamination of meanings. To ride this great phenomena of creation without contamination of meanings. This is the fundamental search in music, that you don't need meanings. The sound is not only intoxicating, invigorating, it does everything that life can do, if only you have some mastery over the sounds. So, the purpose of music is this, that what you can do all over the world, you can sit here and do simply by uttering the right sounds in the right way. Every experience that a human being can have, you can sit here and have simply uttering the right kind of sounds. But there is no meaning to it, because there is no meaning to the sky nor the earth. Meaning is a psychological compulsion that people want to make up some meanings, some purpose to themselves, because they're not experiencing life. So sound is a powerful, powerful tool to find access to life. This is not about finding meaning to life, it is about finding access to life, to know life a little deeper than how everybody else is knowing right now. That's the whole thing. You have questions, please?
Yes. Please, applause. That was fantastic, obviously. How you guys doing? Oh, great, great. This is fantastic. Man, I'm personally excited because I have studied philosophy for probably the last 10 years. One of my favorite books is called The Wisdom of the Idiots. I don't know if you heard of that book before, but it's really good. And this is super interesting to study things. Some of these things, some of you guys have heard me even talking about before, because this is just really awesome. But we just have a couple questions that I personally wanted to know that I'm sure you guys can also get some value out of. So one I wanted to start with is how should an artist keep themselves or handle themselves to maintain stability and balance, knowing that music and life in general can be so confusing. How does music influence us or help us to be more stable, balanced, and peaceful?
Oh, when you call yourself an influencer, it's a terribly irresponsible position to take. That means everything that you do influences somebody's life, makes or breaks it. That's what it means, influence. You can make this life or break this life. So when you have such a privilege and a responsibility, I think conducting that well is most important. Because for a whole lot of people, even their own children are not listening to what the hell they say. Yes. So when you have 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people wanting to listen to you and they're willing to follow what you say, it's a tremendous privilege and a responsibility. Conducting this well is of greatest importance, especially now in 21st century, where the reach of every human being is like never before. Never before. Is it? Never before. In the history of humanity, this was never ever possible. Many great beings have come. But if they spoke or sang, hardly 10 people heard. When microphones came, 1,000 people heard. When internet came and all these things came, now millions of people can hear. When there is such a power in our hands, I think exercising this in a responsible way is most important. How I will come to, but I want to emphasize the significance of why. This happened to me when this was something 2005, 2006 I think. So I never get any time to browse this internet and whatever. I saw everybody is looking at something. I said, what are they all looking for? What are people searching for on the net? What is there? because I thought everything is in the world. So, somebody who's some kind of an expert who was around me, he said very casually, he said, Sadhguru, about 70% is pornography. I said, what? He told me 70%. Then I asked one more guy who's supposed to be an expert, he says, yeah, Sadhguru, somewhere there. And they told me, on that year, some 1.4 million children below 15 years of age were sold on the internet. So, when human beings sell their own children, we've hit the bottom. There's no further place to go. Hello? There's really no further place to go, this is it. So, when we get a technology like this that we can communicate with the entire world, what we do is pornography and sell our children. I thought this is not right. And I said, we must get on this internet. So it's been 15-year journey, and today, even if you're watching pornography, Sadhguru will come and say,
pop up right there. I've seen some strange pop-ups. So I would love to see your YouTube recommendations. The thing, man. So speaking of which, oh yeah, please, of course.
So, we've been making this effort because what I see is, when we have this power to speak to the entire world, which was never before, many great beings came, but whom could they speak to? Some 5-10 idiots around them. Now you can talk to the entire world. Now if we don't transform humanity, this means we simply don't care. It's as simple as that for me. So, we've been at it, we've never really gone professional, it's all volunteers doing it. Last year our video views have been 2.48 billion. Never before any spiritual talks have ever gone like that. Why this is important is, it's not about me. This is about, do we care what we are saying, what we're doing? Whatever we do, is it doing something good to somebody here, or is it destroying their lives? This is something we have to watch with every act that we do. The bigger we become, the more we have to be conscious, isn't it? If you're a tiny little ant, if you crawl all over me, no problem, I will do that and sit here, no problem. If you become an elephant, now where you put your foot becomes very important, isn't it? Today, every human being has become a massive elephant. Everybody has a massive footprint, they can reach, with all kinds of silly things, they can reach the entire world, all right? Hello? Yeah. With anything, I'm not trying to belittle anything, I'm just amazed that something as simple as your nail polish, you can reach the entire world, all right? When that kind of tools are in our hands, now every one of us have become massive creatures, not small ones anymore. Now walking responsibly, consciously becomes most important. So how do we get balance in our life? See, whatever intelligence you have, whatever genius you have, whatever capabilities you have, if you don't have balance, it will all turn against you, it will not work for you. Yes? Right now, what is it that human beings are suffering? If you are with me, you can say, Sadhguru, we are suffering because of you. But I know you are capable of suffering by yourself, isn't it? You can sit alone and suffer. If you're sitting alone and suffering, what does it mean? It means your own intelligence pokes you all the time. Hello? So you can call it stress, you can call it anxiety, you can call it misery, depression, madness, suicide. What is it? It is just this, your intelligence is turned against you. That's all, isn't it? If you take half your brain away, you will be very peaceful. Yes? So right now the problem is your intelligence. To get you to this level of cerebral capability, it took millions of years of research and development. You can call it evolution, but essentially it's research and development that happened in nature. Maybe not in a lab, but it happened, right? From a single cell amoeba to who you are right now. Is this a small development? Hello? It is massive, unimaginable, isn't it? But now we are suffering that. If you had the brain of an earthworm, you would be very peaceful, I know. So, if our own intelligence is a problem, you tell me from your perception, is intelligence a solution or is it a problem? What it should be? It is the only solution, isn't it? But unfortunately, human intelligence has become the biggest problem, both to individual human beings, unto the world, unto the planet, for everything. Human intelligence and competence has become the biggest problem. This should be the greatest solution. But unfortunately, it's become like this because human beings are wobbling, no balance. Above all, do not wobble, this is very important. If you do not invest time and energy to bring that stability, that equanimity within you, believe me, your own hand one day will start hitting you in the face. It's nothing different, this may look silly, but I'm telling you, you're sitting here, your own thoughts are poking you. How is it different from your own hand slapping you in the face? Hello? How is it different? Same thing, isn't it? So, certain amount of investment of time, energy and focus to bring equanimity and balance into your system is most important. If you do not invest, there will be no results, there will be no dividend. It's as simple as that. Right now, modern education systems are teaching you how to go to the Mars. God damn it, you don't know how to live on this planet. You still not figured out how to live on this planet. Even if you successfully go to another planet, what will you do? Only Star Wars, isn't it? Hello? We have fought here enough. On the basis of caste, creed, religion, race, nationalities, we have fought and continuing to fight. Now if you go there, what will you do? Only Star Wars, isn't it? So, we idiots first learn how to live on this planet. Yes, technology, science is important, but isn't this most important that human beings live a balanced and fruitful life, first of all? Yeah. Otherwise, all technologies will turn against us. All our capabilities will turn against us. It's happening already. So, bringing this balance, as there is a science and technology for external well-being, there is a whole science and technology for inner well-being. It's time every human being approaches it that way. We have tried to handle human well-being with belief systems, with philosophies, with ideologies, with relationships, with drink, with drug and so many things. No. As there is a technology for external well-being, there is a technology for inner well-being. All human experience has a chemical basis to it. You know this in California, hello? But I'm asking you, is it true that the most complex and sophisticated chemical factory on the planet is right here? Hello? So why are you not able to generate a chemistry of blissfulness? Because you're a lousy manager. It's as simple as that. Hello? No, you have to put things from outside because you don't know what to do with this one. I see somewhere here on Sunset Boulevard, it's a building-sized hoarding which says, "My favorite pharmacy." I'm planning to put up a board, "My favorite cemetery." When did a pharmacy become a favorite place to go to? This is the greatest chemical factory. If you learn to manage it well, you can drip ecstasy every moment of your life. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see here on my little thing. Do you listen to any Western music?
No. I'm not supposed to confess this. Well, I grew up in… were totally on Western music at one time. After that, one day it so happened that, for a few years I just lived on a motorcycle. So, I was just riding in the university and I heard some strange kind of sound. I couldn't believe it. It's like it was holding me in the gut and just pulling me. That kind of sound. So without even thinking, I just went straight there. And in this open-air theatre, somebody was playing some instrument, I did not know what it is. Just maybe, it's a capacity of 10,000 people, but only about 150, 200 people were sitting. I went right up to the open-air theatre because this is where we practice riding our motorcycles up and down the stairs. So I went right up and then I switched off the motorcycle and I'm just listening to this. For the first time, listening to the sound, tears are just coming in my eyes. I've never heard anything like that. This is called Rudra Veena. Later on I found out. And this person was playing it. It was just very mild music, simply dong. He waits for, like 30-40 seconds before he does the second storm. This kind of music, it just destroyed me. And kind of Western music ended there for me that day. But still I listen. You want to know the name?
Yeah, you guys don't know, right? I know what's on the playlist.
Well, I still listen to B.B. King.
Okay.
I still listen to Herbie Mann.
Oh,
I
wow.
still listen to Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
Them anymore.
Yeah, you can put your hands together. That was good. Let's see here. What do you think it is about sound and music that's so unifying to people when people come together?
Let me pick off from what I spoke in the beginning. See, when you say unifying beyond cultures, beyond language, beyond all the other kinds of silly barriers that we have created, because it's a reverberation. When the sound is beyond meaning, anything that's beyond meaning always unifies people. People don't understand this. They try to find meanings. Now I find meaning in the color of my skin. I keep telling people, say I'm made of chocolate. Hello, hey, what are you laughing? When I see coffee lovers, I say I'm made of coffee. So we're always trying to find meanings for everything. What the significance of music is, there is a sound which need not have any meaning. And that's always unifying. If you get the geometry right, then it just brings everything together. So people are thinking music is about love, music is about this, that. No. Music is about trying to touch the existence a little deeper than the way you're doing it normally. And existentially, we are one. Only socially, we are too divided. There are beautiful, legends in India, which many people vouch 100% it is so. There have been musicians where that they would sing so intensely a particular type of sound and light up the lamps. Lamps are kept ready in front of him. It's a challenge that they will light up the lamps and they will make things move with the sound. There are people like this, but their mastery of sound is something extraordinary, phenomenal, because they have just dissolved into it. They are not musicians. They are just given themselves to it, absolutely. So there have been many. I don't know if you guys have ever heard any Indian classical music. I never heard when I was your age. I heard only rock and roll, but it suddenly grabbed me. As I became more and more meditative, it was inevitable that I had to move in that direction. If you want, we can play 2 minutes of something for you. Okay? What do we have? Somebody here?
Fantastic. Next question. Kind of a two-parter. You spoke a little bit about mantras before, but I just wanted to know more about mantras and how yoga enhances your perception of life and ability to pay attention and get into the sounds.
As I said, mantra means you learn to arrange a sound in a certain sense of geometrical perfection. When I say geometrical perfection, everything that's physical in the universe has to have some kind of geometrical coherence, otherwise it will not last. Your own body, how geometrically aligned you are, how you sit, stand and breathe, will determine how it will function, how long it will function. Every day you sit like this, okay? Just try like this, sit like this only. Then you will see many things will go wrong with your system. I was telling people, if you allow me to redesign all the American furniture, I will save you $1 trillion in healthcare bill. Because wherever you go and sit, you go and sit like this. You're not going to be healthy like that. The geometry of the body is completely misaligned. So, sound and form are not two different things, they are two manifestations of the same thing. So, there is a mantra and there is a yantra. The word yantra literally translates as a machine. So by using sounds, complex arrangement of sounds, we build a yantra. That means we build a machine, which is an energy machine, which is not a physical machine. There are no material parts to it, but it will function. It will function and do… See, right now what is the idea of coming up with any kind of machine? Why did we come up with a bicycle? Because we could walk and it was not enough. We tried to run, it was not enough. So we wanted to come up with a machine which will take us faster. If you were made like a tree, rooted to one place, would you think of a bicycle, I'm asking? So everything, every machine that we have created is only enhancement of the activity that we can already do, nothing new. Yes? We can speak, so we have a microphone, we have a telephone. We can see, so we have a microscope, we have a telescope. Everything is just to enhance what we already have. We cannot imagine a machine which will do something that we ourselves cannot do. Maybe we can do this much, the machine will do that much. So essentially a machine is a consequence of the faculties that we already possess and how to make these faculties in super enhanced way. So from a simple machine like a bicycle to whatever we are talking metaverse, just enhancement. If you didn't have eyes, what would you do with metaverse? So the whole thing is enhancement. So we create energy machines. The purpose and the idea behind the energy machine is, it is in human experience almost perpetual. Perpetual is a wrong word, but its lifespan is well beyond our lifespan, so we think it's perpetual. If something lasts beyond your lifespan, let's say it lasts beyond 10, 15, 20 generations, then you think it's forever, isn't it? It's not forever. 500 years, 1000 years is not forever, but in our experience it's like it's forever, because we have not seen the beginning of it, we have not seen the end of it. So it feels like it's been always. So in that sense, the yantra, an energy yantra or an energy machine that you create with perfection of sounds is lasting way beyond our lifespan, doing things that we cannot even imagine to do. So these yantras were created in various forms and many things were done. If you have… maybe 2 years ago there was a movie called… what was the movie about Ramanujam called? Ramanujam movie, is it? There was a movie, I watched this movie in Los Angeles in one of the very lousy theaters, I don't know what the theater was. I just saw the poster and I went. So this was an Indian mathematician that he never really studied mathematics. And an English professor at that time, when still the English were ruling India, he noticed this boy who's just a clerk in the government, office. He's producing mathematics. On the side, he's just sitting down and pouring out mathematics, books and books. So he saw this and he saw that the profoundness of what he's doing, and then he took him to Oxford. There he went and blew up. He was treated extremely badly because of discrimination, and he was not allowed to eat with people. He was thrown into some dungeon where he got tuberculosis because he was not given proper accommodations. But he was sick with tuberculosis, but he sat on his bed, which was his deathbed after some time. He poured out mathematics like crazy. Even today, in 21st century, they're still figuring what he wrote. And some of the things that he did in 2010, they figured out. He has made mathematical calculations for black holes. There was no concept of black hole at that time. This is in early 20th century. There was no concept of black hole, but he made a mathematical backbone for black holes. Normally in scientific process, first there is a theory, there's a concept, there is a theory, and then only when you find mathematics for it, it is considered science. But he first did the mathematics. When people asked him, where is this coming from? He was always worshipping a certain goddess. That is his deity. These deities are yantras. Today, unfortunately, people think these are all gods and goddesses. These are all always in southern India. The temple worship is always referred to as a yantra because these are machines created in a certain way to access different dimensions of life. He said, in his words I'm saying, he said, my goddess bleeds mathematics. And simply he wrote books and books and books. More than 50% was lost, but what is there is still… it's mind-boggling for the top mathematicians in the world. And this is just that he found access to that dimension of life simply by, accessing using a certain yantra or an energy form which gave him that possibility. So, what is a mantra means? It's a tool to build a yantra. You have a sound, you can make a form out of it. If you know how, you can create complex varieties of sound and assemble it into a powerful machine which works for you, which can work for everybody. Various types of yantras are there like this. So mantra, yantra and tantra are three different aspects of the same science. Mantra means the sound, yantra means the form, and tantra means the technology of putting it together. I know in United States, if you're there tantra, people think some weird sex is happening.
It was called Man Who Knew Infinity.
Yeah, Man Who Knew Infinity, that was the title of the movie.
So actually we're gonna open it up to you guys now for some questions. I see one hand was already up as if you knew that was coming next. Yeah, in the back, please.
Oh, this is simple. Do you smoke weed?
What's that?
Do you smoke weed? Well, how do you feel about marijuana? Is it a good or bad thing for the brain?
You tell me, you're the one using it. Whether it's good or bad, but look at my eyes, I'm always stoned. Never used a substance, but always stoned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, as I already told you, this is a far more complex chemical factory than a plant alone. Do you agree with me?
That's 100% true.
This is far more complex and sophisticated. If you don't know how to use this, then you can use a plant. Nothing wrong with the plant, poor plant. But you're ripping it out, that's up to you. So anyway, these days I'm being invited to all these under 25 conferences in India. because they think I am less than 25. So in Bangalore city, over 15,000 people are in an open space and a strong scent, the smell of marijuana is all over the place. It's not legal, but in India it grows everywhere, so… now you're thinking of going to India? So they tell me, Sadhguru, you have such an influence with the government, why don't you make marijuana legal for us? I said, why not? We'll make marijuana legal. And why just one thing? Let me make cocaine legal, heroin legal, opium legal, what else? You list it out, I'll make everything legal. Why do you want it to be legal? You want to smoke and go to the university? In India it's called smoking up. If you smoke tobacco, it's just smoking. If you're smoking weed, it's smoking up. You want to smoke up and go to the university? I said, why not? Why not? Why can't we do that? I said, see, we'll do one thing. We'll take you on a small plane ride and you're waiting, a little plane, 2-seater, 4-seater kind of plane. And you're sitting in the plane and waiting because there's a rickety little thing. And the pilot comes smoked up. You want to fly with him? They don't get it. They say like, maybe. I said, okay, you're not getting this, you need a major surgery. And the surgeon comes smoked up. You want the surgery? Oh no. So why are you saying no? You get it, your faculties are lowered, right? When your faculties are lowered, from now on, don't say, I'm high. Just say, I'm low. We understand. You're low, you can't be given things where too much competence is needed. All right. You like to be low. Now I want to tell you this, life gets better only when our faculties are enhanced, not reduced. Hello? Do you think evolution has been wrong? Hello? You will be better off being a grasshopper, is that what you think? Faculties enhanced is enhanced life, isn't it? Faculties brought down is not enhanced life. So I said, at least I will not tell you what to do and what not to do. I am not somebody to give you moral advice. All I am saying is, when you smoke, you say, I'm low. We understand. Don't say, I'm high, you're deceiving yourself. You're putting salt in your coffee and thinking it's sugar. This is crazy. So I won't tell you what you should do, but you must test and see, does it heighten your faculties or lower your faculties? Right now, because you don't know how to handle your faculties, the best thing is to put it to sleep. Hello? When you do not know how to handle your intelligence and the capabilities of being human, the best thing is to put it to sleep. You know, if you do this to a dog or a cat or a horse, if I say I put it to sleep, how do you understand? Yeah, put it to death. I want you to understand, if you go down, either in sleep, even normal sleep I'm saying, you're dead. Hello? You're dead to the world and to yourself, isn't it? So how long do you want to be dead in a day? This is something you must decide. How long? You have come here to live or you come here to die? Make up your mind on this, all right? I am not telling you any morality. All I'm saying is this. How old are you?
23.
23. 25 years ago, where were you?
Not here.
Not here. Didn't exist. How long you didn't exist? You don't know? Forever maybe? I'll give you another 100 years, okay? Okay? 100 years later, you'll be again dead. Yes or no? No? So, 25 years ago, you were dead, 100 years later, you'll be again dead. How long will you be dead? Forever maybe. Your life is just a little sparkle here right now, for a brief amount of time. In this, to realize the potential of being human, the time is simply not enough. In this, if you're sleeping 8 hours a day, what I'm seeing is 1/3 of your life you slept. All the best, congratulations. If you want to increase it to 12 hours a day, Oh, really, you're doing great. 50% of your life you slept and you think it's an achievement. Hello? You're here to live, to experience life as profoundly as possible, as impactfully as possible. Yes or no? Yes. But this, you need something that heightens your faculty, not something that lowers your faculty. For this, there is some work you need to do with this, to enhance this. If you own a car which goes to garage 15 days in a month, it's more of a nuisance than having it, isn't it? One day in a month if it goes, it's a bit of a nuisance, but okay. But 15 days it's in the garage, you can do better without the car. Right now, just see what kind of vehicle do you have, your body and your mind. What is the downtime it's demanding? I want to tell you, I'm not saying this for any other reason. Because you're young, you got the whole life ahead of you, I'm saying this. But nearly 26, 27 years, on an average, I slept only 2.5 hours. These days, I'm a little lazy, I'm sleeping 3.5, 4.5 hours sometimes. But still the level of activity has increased and so many things. Why I'm saying this is, we have come here to live. There is no substitute for life. Hello? There is simply no substitute for life. The greatest thing that's happening to you right now is not your education, not your music, not your love affair, not your nonsense. Life is the greatest thing, only because you're alive, all this, isn't it? But that you want to put it down and think you're doing great. Please don't do that to yourself. It's very important that human life is the peak of evolution. You must be feeling on top of the world, because literally you're on top of the world. Hello? But human beings are not feeling that way because they have just not learned to handle their own faculties. Their own hand is smashing their face. Their own mind is killing them. So, to handle this, there are many ways. You can soak it in alcohol and keep it, or you can keep it in a smoke screen. You can do many things, but that's not a solution. That is an avoidance of the reality. Am I becoming unpopular?
I'm sure there'll still be a lot of weed smoke going on. Yes, sir. Actually, we'll still have your hand up first, behind you. Sorry.
I was just wondering, so you said that we're still trying to learn, like, how to live on Earth. What would you say is the right way to live on Earth, and is there even a right way to live?
See, instead of saying the right way means what is correct, what is incorrect, these kind of things will come. What is morally right, morally wrong, that's not what we're looking at. When do you… it's about well-being, all right? When do you feel well? Tell me, when you're angry, do you feel well? When you're frustrated, do you feel well? When you're fearful, do you feel well? Huh?
No.
No. When you're joyful, when you're exuberant, you feel well, isn't it? For what reason you're exuberant, for what reason you're joyful, doesn't matter. You're joyful and you feel well, it doesn't matter where the hell you are in the world, isn't it? Yeah. Yes or no? At least that much you must do, isn't it? Yeah. That your experience of life here is pleasant. If you sit here, your experience of life is pleasant. Then what we can do in the world comes next. This itself is unpleasant. When this is unpleasant, if I touch that, that also will become unpleasant, isn't it? If my hands are not clean, I should not touch, isn't it? Hello? Misery means your hands are not clean. When you were a 5, 6-year-old child, if there were no extreme situations, you were joyful by your own nature, isn't it? So at 5, if you're so joyful, by the time you're 30, you should be bursting with ecstasy. Oh, just the reverse has happened because we've lost our ability to handle our faculties. Your education systems are not saying one damn thing about this one. They're telling you what is in a cockroach's heart. Hello? What for? You don't know what's in this one. We call this science. Science is all about We want to exploit even a microbe. Hello? Not just an elephant. Even if there is an invisible microbe, we want to extract. People are extracting protein out of microbes. God damn it, leave it alone now. They are giving us protein and everything. First learn how to explore this, isn't it? But there is no focus on this. It's always about how to conquer somebody else and something else. No, if you take charge of this one, you will live wonderfully well. And when you're joyful, do you see you're quite a wonderful guy?
Yeah.
Hello? You are. This is true for you, this is true for everybody, you know. I've been teaching programs in the prisons, both in India and even in United States, we did a few. Our programs are mandatory in southern India. I have worked with hardcore criminals. I'm working with long-term prisoners, they've come there for murder or more, okay? If you look at their history sheets, what terrible things they've done. But when they are with me, they are fantastic guys. Because if you keep them happy, they're fantastic. But if you meet that guy when he's angry, when he's miserable, when he's frustrated, you better not be there. But when you meet him when he's happy, this hardcore criminal is a wonderful, wonderful guy, all right? So this is the only crime you're committing. Out of your misery, you want to try to squeeze joy out of somebody or something. So it is instituted in the American Constitution in pursuit of happiness. Tell me, whether it is happiness or misery, where does it happen? Does it happen here in the air or within you? What happens within you? Why are you chasing it? This is the case of a potato farmer. A potato farmer went to pluck apples. He went to the apple tree, but he won't look up. He started digging the earth. Oh, if you let him dig, he will uproot the tree itself, which we are doing right now in pursuit of human happiness. Are we not ripping off the planet itself, the source of our life? What is this? All this in pursuit of happiness. Why? Because you're not happy. You think you're going to squeeze happiness out of this planet and every other life and every other human being around you. No. If you want pleasantness of experience or unpleasantness of experience, both happen within you. The source of your experience is within you. If you realize this, you will take charge of this. If you take charge of this, you will determine the nature of your experience. If you are determining the nature of your experience, will you choose highest level of pleasantness for yourself or no? Yes, what you want for your neighbor may be debatable, but what you want for yourself is very clear, isn't it? That's all you need to do. If human beings are joyful and sensible, we will find a way for everything. Right now they're in such states of misery and angst and nonsense, where everything they're colliding with somebody, isn't it? Just everything. You know, my skin, your skin can hit each other. Now you are okay now.
So you're talking about these faculties and being able to manage them. What are some ways that you would recommend to manage them rather than going to all these other substances or whatever that maybe are just really easy to get to?
See, the simplest and the most fundamental thing is the fundamental misconceptions you have about life must go. When I say fundamental misconceptions, were you born like this?
Born like this?
Like this shape and size and everything?
Well, I was smaller.
You were just this much,
Yeah.
now you became this much. How did this happen? Food that you eat, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what you call as my body is in a way accumulation of food and various other things, but it's an accumulation. Accumulation, yes?
Yeah.
So what you call as my mind is an accumulation of impressions, correct? So what you accumulate can be yours, but cannot be you, isn't it? See, as I'm speaking, I pick up this vessel and say, this is my vessel. You'll think, oh, Sadhguru has some problem. But let's listen, everybody says he's wise. After some time I said, this is me. Then you will say, let's go. Because now you know this is the case, isn't it? But this is what you're doing every day.
Wow.
Food appears on your plate, you say, this is my food. You eat it and then you say, this is me. Same case, isn't it? The only advantage you have is, everybody's in the same state. That's the only excuse you have. But that's how it is in an asylum. Only the doctor is nuts. Well, everybody's fine there, isn't it? So, you have to make this simple distinction. What is you, what is not you? What belongs to you and what is actually you? This has to come into your experience. For this we have a very simple process called Isha Kriya. It's freely downloadable on your phone. For a few days, for 15-20 days you do it with support. Afterwards you can do it by yourself. Please do this. Bring a little space between you and your body, between you and your mind, because these two are accumulations that you have gathered and you have forgotten. Yes? Once there is a little space, this is the end of misery. Because there are only two kinds of suffering, physical suffering, mental suffering. Do you know any other kind of suffering? No. If you have little distance between these two and yourself, this is the end of suffering. And suddenly you know what is the nature of your body, what is the nature of your mind. See, people have been walking upon this planet for so long, but the argument went on whether this planet is round or flat. Now, burn all the damn textbooks that you read. Walk up and down on the street and tell me, is the planet flat or round? Still flat in your experience, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. When did this argument really settle? Human beings started flying, went up there and looked down, clearly it was round. We went and stood on the moon and looked down, 100% round. No argument anymore. Yes or no? Why? Little space. That perspective you need when you're stuck in something, you don't see what it is. Little space. Suddenly you know the nature of your body and the nature of your mind. If you do not know the nature of anything, do you believe you can deal with it well? If you buy a phone, what phone do you use? Oh, that's old. Now, if you buy a new phone, should you read the user's manual within the first 3 days or after 3 years when you're discarding the phone? When should you read it?
In the beginning.
Yes. I'm asking, this most sophisticated gadget that is given to you, have you read the user's manual? That's all your problem is.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for being here. For me, it took me kind of creating some distance between my experience of having to survive to even see the need to to do the inner engineering, right? So I have a background in teaching, and so even before I could teach the students, a lot of times it was like you got to get them to see the value in themselves and all these things. So, and I guess my question is, from a standpoint of somebody who's like an oppressed people, I know that the need is there for people to do that inner engineering, but people who have already done that work, is there a need to challenge those kind of systems of oppression, in your opinion? And if so, how do we do that? Does that make sense?
See, unfortunately human beings have taken to these modes how to enslave everything around them, not just human beings, not this and that, everything. Because our idea of well-being is to be on top of everybody. They taught this to you in kindergarten. They told you, your mother told you, you must be number one. What should I be? Beneath you? What should he be? Beneath you? What should she be? Beneath you? All of us should be beneath you. You must be on top of all of us. Wrong thing to teach, isn't it, from the day one? I gone to school in a certain way. I went there only when it was absolutely necessary. And one day I came home and intimation had come to my father that I'm 33rd rank in the class. He asked me, how many children are there in your class? I said, 33, of course. The highest number, I thought. Hello? 1 is a puny little number, 33 is a good number. So this whole thing is just this. We are not recognizing the value of life. We are recognizing only if I stand on your head, only then I'm seen. If I sit here, I'm not seen. This is a silly problem that we have gotten into. Right from day one, parents, teachers, adults, society, everything is telling you, you got to be ahead of everybody else. Well, when you are just a child, you try to get first rank. When you become a man, depending on your strength, whether you will enslave 2 people, 10 people, whole generation, we don't know, isn't it? We are hoping that you will not be competent when you have such intentions. Because I'll take an extreme example. See, there are any number of Adolf Hitlers in the world, fortunately impotent, with the same intent, with the same emotion, with the same ideas. There are any number of them, fortunately not with the same competence. So when did human competence become a curse? Because we're pitting it against each other all the time. Instead of enjoying your competence and my competence and making something out of it, we are pitting it against each other. Now, if I'm really competent, naturally, I'm naturally going to be another Adolf Hitler. Yes? Because we're setting it from day one. On the way you may give up because you may not have the heart to do it. But that guy was super competent. See, the problem is only his competence. Do you believe there are no millions of other people who have similar emotions and similar ideas? Are you naive enough to believe that? Hello? No, there are lots and lots of people. Fortunately, they are not such great organizers. So, we have to just hope. See, now when things happen like this, like our friend at the corner said, the best thing is if instead of being violent, instead of killing, instead of being constantly on top of somebody, better you smoke and sleep. Yes, that's how you will look at life. Because this is the argument people are putting to me. No, Sadhguru, people smoking people don't do anything, they just… Yes, I know that. We can give you an injection and you can sleep. Yes, for good. See, I know there's so much bad press for the dead, but have you ever had any dead person coming and beating you up in the face, something like that, oppressing you? They're the best guys. Hello? Sleeping and the dead are the best people on the planet, isn't it? Hello, have you met such good people anywhere? Sleeping people and dead people, they are the most wonderful people because they never harmed anybody. But is that the way? Is that the solution? To be alive, to be full of possibilities and still be a tremendous possibility for your life and everybody's life. That is the important thing, isn't it? By taking away possibilities, you think you've solved a problem. No. If you remove all the possibilities, there will be no problems, all right? To keep all the possibilities and then not be a problem, this takes some consciousness.
All right, thank you. Put your hands together. Thank you so much.